Andy, tell me the ways that these things can actually end if you get involved in that life.
It can only end in three ways, really, right? And that's the truth of the matter. It doesn't matter what you get. Remember what you get, how you've got it, okay? Most think house on sand has no foundation, and that's the reality of it. So the minute you're arrested, and it will happen, okay, you're going to get two things: prison sentence and a big confiscation order. So those things you've worked to get, to put yourself in that position, they're going to remove from you. And they're going to go beyond it, because they're going to take hidden assets and stuff you haven't even got, right? So you'll be in debt. So that's the first thing that's going to go. So all the material stuff has gone. Then you've got the prison sentence that lies ahead of you. Now, the prison sentence is you, that's you, fine. But what have you got that goes with that? You've got the people that so-called you love. And those are going to be the personal people, your parents who are going to get older, probably die before you come out of prison, the wife, the kids who are going to grow up, you know, become estranged from. And you've got all those relationships and people that actually did care about you become a burden to them, because you're not making money, you're not a benefit to them anymore. They're having to send you money up to prison to put pressure on them. They have to, you know, travel all around the country to go and visit you. You become a burden to them. You become a headache to everyone else. So you're not an independent person anymore. You are a liability. Those are the two fundamental facts of when you get nicked. Leading up to when you get nicked, there's a whole other landscape, because there's no such thing as being a successful criminal, because every other criminal doesn't tap you on the back. They want to say something bad about you, because it's the kind of nature of life that it is. So everyone doesn't look at, it's good that you succeed. It isn't good enough and they're succeeding. It's, they want to succeed and you have to fail. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not normal, right? It's abnormal. So that's the environment you're living in, because you're doing that kind of business that attracts them kind of people, that whole atmosphere. Then you're at risk of people thinking that you've got what they haven't got, and they want to try to set you up to rob you, which then means you're positioning yourself to say you're expecting that could happen, so you're arming yourself, you're putting people around you who are prepared to do terrible things to people if that circumstance happens. You yourself are going to be prepared to do them sort of things, and if you're caught doing them sort of things, you're going to have to do a life sentence. Okay, so that's not a good option, right? Then you've got the option of always having to look over your shoulder, not from a criminal, but from the police.
The
because
paranoia.
they don't let you get on with it. They're going to be constantly, you know, putting resources, time and efforts on you. But not only they're putting it on you, they're putting that blanket over your whole family. So your privacy is being approached. Your car's going to be bugged. You're going to be constantly under surveillance. Your phones are going to be tapped. Every private conversation you think you're having isn't private anymore. So your whole privacy is gone from you. So if you want to have that life, or set about that life, go ahead and do it, but that's what you're signing up for.
And another thing as well, say later down the line, you know, you have a kid or a child or whatever, you must be paranoid that something's going to happen to your family.
See, this is the whole thing. You're entering into a world, right, of horrible environment, okay? Now, while you're in that game, yes, you're always thinking, you're around it, but what you're doing is you're surrounding yourself by a blanket of people who are the same as you. That's your firm, and that firm can stretch quite considerably. Understand, when something goes on within that environment, you're part of that, and whether it means so and so has done something to so and it means that you're going to have to now physically, you know, use your contacts to source guns, all kinds of stuff to get them so they can arm people, or you're going down a road where you're not responsible just for you or your family anymore. You're responsible for that whole network of people, and there could be 30 people in that network. So something can happen and splinter something in that whole network of people that drags you in, and it's what drags you in is the phone calls. It's the whole thing. So if there is a situation occurring, whether it be drug smuggling, whether it be violence, and a phone call, and you acknowledge someone's phone call or the conversation, you're now knowingly concerned in a crime. So it doesn't come away. The only way it goes away is if you're able to actually say, do you know what, stay away from me, I'm hot, right? Yeah, you don't want to be around me, because this is what I'm doing. I'm talking on television, I'm doing bloody well charities things, you just don't want to be around me. And 9 times out of 10, people with that mentality can't look beyond it. They think, oh bloody hell, he's right, and they stay away from you. You lose them. The ones that stay are the ones that generally want to change. The ones who generally are thinking, is that the same thing as you think, you know what, fuck life, I don't want to be in this no more. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way out. That's how you do it. You break it down real fucking simple and say to someone, you must be a fucking idiot, mate. What are you putting yourself around me for? What are you phoning me for? Don't you know they must listen to my phone calls? Haven't you seen me on telly last week?
Do you feel a lot calmer now? Do you feel at peace?
I just wish if I'd known what I know now a lot earlier, because a lot of people, friends who are doing new sentences, I think if I'd been able to intervene, they wouldn't even be in prison. Do you know what I mean? Because it's surprising when you are honest with people, and people in this lifestyle, they build themselves up and they got this big bravado, this ego going on. And that's the thing. If you're able to look yourself in the face and be honest about it and just say, this is a load of bollocks, mate. Look at this. This is a load of shit.
This is how it's going to end up.
We know how it's going to end up, right? Why don't we think about putting a few quid into this legitimate business and putting the graft into it, right? And I chat to kids, I say, listen, this is the example. The status of a successful drug dealer: nice watch, pretty girlfriend, car, all right car, maybe a BMW or something, right? That's the status, yeah? Now we got, how does that status get you? That's half a Kia Coke. That is a Kia Coke, let's say. This is your working, kitty, right? Maybe if you're a big man, 5 keys, right? That's you. That's your life consists of that. You get nicked now. Let's say you get nicked. You get nicked. That's guaranteed, in my case, 15 years. But you're guaranteed fucking 5 or 6 years prison, right? That's going to go. So the house is gone, the car's gone, the girlfriend's gone. They haven't got a house, actually, right? They've got the watch and they've got the girlfriend, and they've got the fucking holiday photographs, and they've got, the watch. That's all gone. The police have taken it. The girlfriend comes up, has a few visits. After then, they've exhausted the talk about the appeal. Then suddenly she's gone. So now suddenly they're here on their own in the system, with no money, with no income, with nothing. And the realisation is, where do they go? They either use their head and work their way out of the system intelligently and think about, what if I got a trade? What is the example, the difference between that drug dealer and that plumber? Let me tell you what it is. That plumber gives 2 years of his life to training. A drug dealer gives 2 years of his life being on the road, getting what he calls his contacts, right? Then after those 2 years, that plumber then, he sets up his own little business, and he sets off his business, and he gets his van, which is his bit of transport, and he builds up his stock. He starts to get his customers, and he starts to now build credible thing. The drug dealer now is building up his stock, right? And he's also building up his risk, yeah? And he moves up and he gets a better car. Then the guy with the van now, suddenly he's got enough customers, he's got enough income from his business legitimately. He then puts his deposit down on his mortgage for his house, bricks and mortar. The thing the drug dealer's not going to get, because he hasn't got the job to position himself to do that, right? And then when he's got his mortgage nicely going on, and his families, and his 2 holidays a year, by now, pretty much around this time now, the drug dealer gets nicked, right? When he gets nicked, he goes back to 0, and the scale is halfway for the plumber. The plumber then progresses his business further and further. He now increases his car, has a nicer car, the house is getting paid off, the business is becoming more and more profitable. The scale, sliding scale, is the plumber member is now here, you are now there, you're trying to come up that ladder, which is harder now because you're hot anyway, and you've got the police on you, and you've got nothing to start with, right? And he's there and he's stable. So I say to him, tell yourself the honest question. In retrospect, what do you want to be, the drug dealer or the plumber? He's doing getting kicked off. Do you know what I mean? For the police, he ain't going to be looking over his shoulder. That's one example. I get it, they're boring trades, perhaps. So what stops you from looking at the transferable skill aspect? Now, if you're selling drugs, you're pretty good at selling stuff. Yeah, you're marketing stuff you can't even market. So what about a business? What about looking at something that you could actually build from scratch and develop and put the same time and effort in? A drug dealer could be phoned at 12 o'clock at night and he's going to turn up there. That's commitment to the job. If you phone up someone, a tradesman, and tell, come to do a job at 12 o'clock at night, 9 out of 10 he's going to say 4 times the price, or he's going to say, call me in the morning. If you're committed to be going out all times of the night with drugs on you, you're committed to a business. Find a fucking different business.
I mean, one worrying thing as well, I'm not going to lie, there is blood on our streets. I think statistics we've got around 250 gangs with over 1,000 members, in London. So
double that figure, right? Yeah, straight away. Within Belmarsh, London, you've got over 400 different gangs, right? Okay. You know, because splinter gangs, you've got creations of splinter gangs. The problem is this: there's always been trouble, there's always been violence. White kids used to go to football together, they go to have a fight. Maybe someone gets cut with a Stanley knife, for a rare exception. So you always have these kind of things. But what's going on now is just doesn't make any sense, because if you're going to have a fight with someone, don't get me wrong, we'll use violence, but if you are walking around with a knife this long with massive edges coming out of it and you put that into someone, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to kill someone. You're not going to harm someone, you're going to murder someone. And the answer to murder is this: murder with a knife is 25 years standard. That's a rep. You serve every day of that. That's your first parole. You're not guaranteed parole. So you've basically signed up to give your life to the government. That's what you've done, right? You've taken away every freedom you've got, every relationship you may have had, every kind of good experience you may have had for the next 25 years minimum has gone. You've given that over. Now, who in their right mind would do that, okay? Even if you're angry, if you're violent, who in their right mind? So therefore, the problem is just bigger than a societal problem. We're going into stages of mental health now because it's insanity. And it's just weak leadership. So people you're looking as role models and mentors are not good role models or mentors. A mentor, 3 people in your life you need, right? I've always said this to people, right? I said, what do you mean 3? I said, 3 people you need, right? And those people are a coach, a mentor, and a champion, right? A coach is your friend, a person you go every single day to the gym with, or you've got a business, you set up a business, and they run around for you, they help you. So stuff you can't even go and get done because you're busy doing this, they're doing it for you, so they get your back, right? That's the person that's there with you every day, toe-to-toe helping you progress your ideas and got your best interest at heart. When you come to a crossroads in life, we all come to crossroads in our life, we need a mentor, because technically speaking, we have a sat-nav, inbuilt sat-nav with us, and we know what we're going to do. If we follow the sat-nav, we're going to be all right. We come to a crossroads, we stop, ask for directions, we go the wrong way. We need a mentor who's there when you're at that crossroads, whether it be a business decision, whether it be any other decision in life. Someone's got enough lived experience or life experience or knowledge to say, I think the best thing for you to do is this, but say it honestly as if that was your child. Say it, give it the experience or that view if it was you. Give them honest, good advice, because your sandboarding should be better than theirs. It's still up to them to make the decision, but if they know you're a good mentor, they're going to think, will weigh heavily on them that probably this is the best road to take. And then the final person you need to have is that champion. That champion is that person who sits into rooms, has access to rooms that you cannot get in yet, okay, because you're not ready to go into those rooms, or you know, those rooms are a little bit above your station. That's in anything you do. That's the legal world, that's illegal world, that is in life. But that person in that room talks about you in a good way and mentions your name in a positive way, which means that you're not in that room, but you are known to that room in the right way, not the wrong way. And once you've got those 3 people in your life and you can identify those people, you are unstoppable. You are unstoppable. And you say to yourself, where are you now in that stage? Well, do I need a coach? Maybe not, because the ideas I have, the things I want to do, I've got enough aggression in me to do them to a degree, and other people can carry on for me, right? So maybe the coach isn't needed for me. Do I need a mentor? We all need mentors, but maybe I've got enough life experience, or a good portion of it, I'm pretty good at making my own decisions. Do I need a champion? We all need champions, but where I want to be now is a champion myself. I'm the guy that sits in those rooms, has access to those rooms, where those younger kids cannot go or can't sit, but I see positive things in them, and I can talk about them in those rooms.
Because they're not all bad, are they?
Not bad.
They're not all bad.
Not all bad.
And so, even the baddest of the bad have probably got like a good, like you know, a good.
Yeah,
heart
I've seen it. I've opportunity sometimes, and that's the stage in my life I feel I can do. Because if someone is in trouble, a young person I see, sending them to prison is not going to be beneficial to them. It's going to be the opposite effect to them. I am in a position I can write a letter or go to court and say to a judge, Your Honour, I don't believe prison is the right direction for this person. Don't get me wrong, you know, if someone murders someone, that's not going to work, right? But if it's something where it's a crossroads, okay, where it is an opportunity, an alternative, that's a decision. If it's a decision, whereas what if this person was given this to do as a trial, and that could be a job, you know, might not be a prison, could be a situation where, you know, they want to get involved in a record company, and you're going to vouch for them because, you know, if they get the opportunity, that's going to give them a potential pathway, a career, willing to do something. I've done it. I love music. I was very fortunate in my life because I was able to, you know, make a living out of it and do it to the highest level. But also, I liked crime. See what I mean? And, you know, I'm balancing the two is an impossible feat, right? So you have to pick one. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where the mentoring comes in as well.
Also going to cost the taxpayer a fortune to keep these kids inside. So you're better off putting them on the right track.
It's right. So it costs 6 to 1. That's the Chancellor's budget, they called it, right? So for every £1 spent of rehabilitation, so rehabilitate someone, spend £1, you save £6 in tax pounds for the cost of reoffending. That's what it costs, 6 times 6 to 1. So common sense would say, why on earth would you not spend more money in rehabilitation? Because it makes sense, because it saves money in reoffending. And when you've got the balance of that, it's like, that's logical sense. But it shouldn't just be on the government's belly, because they're not going to do it. What about insurance companies? So they're putting your premium up because there's more car thefts or because there's more burglaries. The insurance companies say, well, you know what? We're making all these profits. Why don't we invest some of this back into communities to stop kids doing this and making the places safer? But they're not going to do it. Why would they do it? They're making huge amounts of money from it. But the light needs to be shone on these big businesses and organisations to say, you need to do your bit. Do you know what I mean? It's common sense.
We all need to do our bit, every single one of us.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, there's a lot of good people in our communities giving out their free time to help the young'uns as well. And we got to pay our respects to them as well.
We stand on the shoulders of giants, yeah? We've got to realise that. So, you know, what we come along and we do our little contribution is a little bit, it's part. There are people out there who have dedicated
on the
their
front
lives
line
to doing this on the front line. It doesn't mean they've got the nicest this or the nicest that, or they're rich doing it. They're doing it because they really do fucking care.
They're the heroes.
Do you know what I mean? And
they're the heroes
they
in
are the
society.
heroes. They are the heroes. These are the people who we're supposed to position as a community and say, these are our community leaders. These people are leading with a pure heart. Let's give them back in the help they need. But we don't. What we do is we fucking separate people. We put someone to the front who usually has got the wrong intentions anyway, right? And then we let everything fragment. And when it all goes wrong, everyone comes together, blames everyone for it, and then we have a divided society. We don't look at it logically and say, well, if it goes wrong, it's a bit of everyone's fault. I watched a thing yesterday with Busta Rhymes, and it was so inspiring. He gave a speech and he said he grew up in Brooklyn, right? He said he ain't going to give you no story about he grew up from the projects, like the American kids are going to tell you this, that, that. He went over there, his mum and dad were hard-working Jamaicans that went to Brooklyn, right? And he was there. He said 2 things happened. In Brooklyn, there wasn't just Jamaican kids, there was Trini kids, they were all coming over there. The same way they did here in England. And it's exactly the same remit. Back then, if you messed around or you done something bad, you had permission, yeah, to get an arse in, yeah, from one of the community. And then when you got home and you heard what you'd done, you would get another arse in from your parents, yeah. The community ran the area and the children. They understood what it was like. They looked out for each other. They weren't doing horrible, nasty things to each other. They were actually looking at, as a parent, you know, if that was my child misbehaving or doing that or telling that, you have to apprehend them and say to them, listen, you know what I mean, fix yourself up. But kids now, we've lost that. A kid now is going to want to stab someone for saying that.
Do you know what? One of the most powerful organisations back in the 60s, 1966, they were set up in Oakland, California. was the Black Panthers. You know, they had a 10-point programme: employment for all, free healthcare, jury appears, good education, also teaching black history, end police brutality, decent housing, free black prisoners who were not given a fair trial, and peace and unity. Now, I think what we need, Andy, and I'm sure you agree, we need some kind of organisation which represents every single one of us. It doesn't matter what colour your skin is, it doesn't matter what religion you are, that we all come together as one and push each other forwards.
So you see, this is the whole thing about it now, right? So in America, it's always been extreme violence, extreme things happen, which take extreme circumstances to try to help make those things better. Black Panthers, and I'll tell you another, Nation of Islam. People say Nation of Islam, they go, oh, that is an organisation, as a person of colour, will look out for a person of colour. Do you understand? And wants the best for you, all right? And that is a big tool, but obviously it's very controversial and it carries a lot of argument to different things. But organisations come about not because they just spring out of nowhere. They come about because of concern or for a need, for something that has to be done, right? But Britain's a different society. Britain is very multiracial, mixed, and what frightens me now is we're watching it get divided, and the people that are dividing us, right, are the ones with very little education, because these aren't people who really understand how it should be. And that may be said, oh, what's he saying this for? But it's a fact. An intelligent or sensible thinking person, I mean person with degrees, person with common sense, knows that you achieve more together than apart. If everyone agrees on the basis principle, and the principle has to be your integrity and your morals, okay, that's the only thing you need to join that club. Black, white or indifferent. And once you understand those are the things you've got to have, then you can build. And the people who haven't got those things, these are the ones you need to push away. Okay, so you set your marker, not based on colour, creed or religion, you set your marker on your integrity and your morals. Okay, and once you've got that, then you've got a centre point or a learning, a hub where people could say, we're all like-minded people. This is what we want for our kids. This is what we want for our neighbours. Do you understand? But when we're actually killing each other, or we're creating hate against each other, right, for no really good reason, because not a good reason, we're turning our attention away from the things that really need to be addressed. Do you know what I mean? Because people are scapegoats. That's the reality of it, you know. But
we need to go back to community. We need to go back to what you said at the beginning of the interview, where you walk along the street, you give someone, like, you know, a little acknowledgement, and it doesn't matter what colour you are,
right,
any colour, it does not matter. Just give someone a smile.
No, you're going through the same struggle. No, you've been there. That's all it is. Just acknowledge that. Like, you see someone, you see and you know you're going through something. You know, I've been through that. That's it.
Especially
you know what I mean?
In today's society. I'm not going to go in there with that, but
yeah, it's deep. It's deep. It's deep.